Hey all, today I'm coming to you with another engine match. This time it's between Leela Chess 0 with another version against John Stanback's Wasp. Now I'll leave a link in the description where you can download Wasp. I'm not actually sure how strong it is, so I just thought I'd pit it against Leela and see what happens. And straight away we've got an interesting game. We've got E4, E5, Nf3 Nf6. So I wonder if we'll get into some sort of Berlin variation. So D6, Nf3. Now, maybe knight takes e4 here. I think that's a typical move, followed by d4. Yep, so we get quite a strong opening from black. So already I'm quite excited actually about this game. Now Leela actually gives herself as white is better, and black gives it as equal. d5 from black, bishop d3, now bishop to e7. This is all standard stuff. So I'm guessing rook e1 will be played at some point to attack this knight. Maybe f5 or bishop f5 after that. Or black could just put it back to f6 and it's quite safe. c4 here for Leela is also a move. Undermines the d5 square. Yep, so c4 was played, knight f6. So c6 will probably be played by black at some point to support this d5 pawn. Knight c3 seems like a good move for white, but h3 first. Okay, so stopping the bishop, the black bishop, from ever coming into any of these squares now. And now knight c6. c5 now from white. I think that's a good move because it stops black from taking c4 and leaving this d4 pawn open. Of course b6, so the bishop on c8 wants to come out and black's trying to undermine the c5 pawn. So Leela attacks a knight. Maybe bishop b7 here? Or is black just going to move the knight away? So bishop d7. Knight c3 supporting the bishop. Doesn't black just win a pawn here though with b takes c5? So takes, now bishop just takes c5. I suppose you don't have to take it straight away. So rook, and the bishop protects c5, so I wonder why black didn't take that. Oh, it's because the d4, the d5 pawn's under attack. Okay, that makes more sense. So knight to e4. Bishop to a4, knight takes c3, so b takes c3 will be played. Leela is now giving white is clearly better, but we've seen this before and we've seen her lose. So knight a5, bishop on d7 sacking a4, rook e1 now. So it takes, queen takes, and then maybe knight will pop into c4, but the pawn a7's under attack. Yeah, white, yeah, that's a good, nice move, bishop d4. I don't know if black wants to take that or not. So, okay, does take it, but queen takes instead. I thought pawn might capture that. So the pawn on d5 is under threat. Okay, so c6 blocks the a4 bishop and also protects the pawn, makes some sense. But now bishop c2. So white's manoeuvring for this kingside attack, and now knight c5. Queen d3 or queen, yeah, just queen d3 would threaten mate on h7. So queen d3. Maybe g6. G6 now. And queen d4, so g6 leaves the black squares vulnerable, so Leela's trying to take advantage. h4, so h5 would be a devastating blow for black's defences. because h6 is coming in. But knight a3, but I guess just bishop d3 from white and it seems fine. Bishop d3, knight b5, bishop just takes it, I'm guessing. Maybe rook takes, and then we can play h5 as white. Yep, so that's happened. I'm guessing h5 now. G takes h5 would be great. h6 is a defense, a typical move. Bishop f5. So if h6 and s6 we played, but still. Okay, so white looks to be gaining some control now. Queen e3, so knight d4 could come. So rook b7, stopping the infiltration. Now knight d4 though, and bishop's got to go back to d7. Oh no, queen. Okay, queen c8. And now queen g3. Time's relatively even for both sides. So how can white get more of an advantage? Okay, so rook starts with rook e3, so is Leela going to double on the e file? And now rook f7. Interesting choice of move. It's getting very defensive for Wasp. a4. Grabbing more space. Bishop d7 now. So the queen can now move again, but rook b1. Bishop goes back to f5. Attacking the rook. And rook b2. Okay, bishop to g4. So black's just moving the bishop around. a5, bishop d7. And rook b1, so bishop f5 again. Now g5, okay. This looks quite ropey. Okay, rook f8, maybe f5 will be played. g4 now. And rook e7. So takes rook f7. It's g7's mate, so rook f7 now. Queen probably go back to d6. And rook f8. So rook e1's now the obvious choice. So rook e1. Rook f7. And now rook to e7 and a6. So black's bishop doesn't look great now. Okay, knight to e6. Bishop takes. So rook's got to take it. So it looks like white's just cleaning up. These pawns are all going to be taken. So takes on c6. The queen takes. Rook takes. Looks like a one endgame. Okay, so rook takes now. f5. Rook takes a6. And if not rook takes a6, the d pawn's quite weak as well. So rook a7 maybe, king e2 and just mop up. So yeah, black could resign this. I'm surprised actually, I didn't know how strong Wasp is or was, so it's gone up in my estimation. It's done quite well, it's had a good fight. Rook b6. So that just cuts off the king, so I'm guessing king d4 now. So, yep, king takes d5. So, white's just going to push these pawns, I guess, or e6 here, and it's got to go back to a7 and then just c6. Okay, king moves. Yeah, just rook takes a6. Okay, so this game is pretty much over. Yeah, so Wasp resigned, and Leela's won the first game as white. So here Wasp is white, Leela's playing black. Let's see what happens. So Wasp kicks off with 1e4, and Leela's also going to play e5, knight f3, and now knight c6. So might get into a Rad-Lopez, or if bishop c4 is played, we could get an interesting game. Okay, so bishop b5, the Rad-Lopez, and now I expect a6. Okay, so knight f6, attacking the e4 pawn. But black can never take that pawn on e4 because after castles, there's rook e1's a massive threat, isn't it? So rook e1 now? Oh, so I'm guessing this wrong. Rook e1, so d4. That was it, d4, and e takes d4. Oh, sorry, knight d6. Yep. So, sorry, black's absolutely fine. So bishop takes c6, d takes c6, and now the pawn will take on e5. And room for a queen trade. And black now has a very solid setup if the queens come off. Yep, queens come off. I'm guessing now white's just got to get some dynamic play. But problem is black will just go to e6 with the bishop, maybe bishop e7. And the king can always hide. h6 here is also a move to stop knight g5 ideas after bishop e6. The thing is, black's got the white squares. So Wasp gives the evaluation as white is slightly better here, and Leela's giving the position as dead equal. Okay, bishop e6. c4 would be a good move. It just really blunts this white bishop. Bishop b2 first, and now, okay, a4. Yeah, I feel like white should have probably played a4 themselves first to stop this. Okay, so c4 now. It's not too bad, but still, it's got some tension in the centre. It's got some tension on this side of the board. c5 now, so black's probably preparing b6, and the king can always hide to b7, and the bishop's going to manoeuvre itself around, I would imagine. Yeah, knight c3 is a good move. a3 now, okay. Bishop's forced back to c1. Rook check first, clever move. Bishop c1 or bishop a1? Bishop c1. So I have to tell who's winning. As black, I wouldn't be so confident because knight b5 looks quite like good outpost, but the bishop on e6 could do a good job in this game, so it's hard to tell who's going to win. The a2 pawn though, if black can get to that with the knight, would be quite devastating. King b7. Okay, so black's doing this plan. I wonder where he's going to put. Well, I wonder where Leela's going to put the bishop. So g4 attacking the knight. So knight to e7. I think black would just ignore that. Yeah, knight c6. Okay, so now the knight could jump to b4 at some point and attack on a2. And now why not knight b4? So the rook's going to have to defend that pawn. Rook e2 or rook d2? So they opt for rook e2. So white's pieces are starting to get a bit tied down, I think. King c6, stopping knight d5. King g2. Knight f5 is always a possibility for white. b5 now. Oh, that's an interesting move. So c takes, king takes. This king's going for a nice little walk. This is quite interesting. So his bishop takes b3 now, threat. So white's doubling, but that rook can never move from d2. So that rook's always tied to that, and now rook bishop g7 attacking the pawn on e5. Knight c2, so getting rid of this knight. King b6. Okay, so takes. This is still worrisome for white though, because bishop b3 could be a threat. So black's finally got her last rook into the game. So I'm guessing, let's see, rook hd8 looks like the best move. Correct. Bishop e3 now check, and king goes back to b7. Okay, so white's back in this, doubling rooks. Rook d7, stop it. Okay, bishop c5, so bishop f8, no, rook to d3. Okay, so bishop d5 was a threat, and now knight to e1. Rook d5 looks okay. So knight goes back to f3. Rook d3 again, now bishop back to e3. Rook c8 to protect the pawn, and yep, the king gets off that horrible diagonal. Bishop f8. Okay, so it's protecting this b4 pawn. Alright, c5. So best two pieces on the game were about to be traded off. That knight could become quite powerful. So if rook d5 here, how does white defend the e pawn? Oh right, yeah, so rook e4. Rook cd8. King goes back to g2. Yeah, so the king's going to go to b5 to protect the c5 pawn. King b5 now will be pretty good. No, f4. So g takes is forced, is it? Takes. Yeah, the h6 pawn's still safe. Okay, rook d1 now. And rook f2. Alright, it feels like black's encroaching in the white position, but yeah, that's not a great position for white to be in with these two rooks in the back rank. Okay, rook c4. I like that move. Good outpost. Yeah, so the pawn on h4 is attacked. Bishop h2 is a nice move. It stops any future checks. Right, so bishop e7 h5, rook to c2. Now bishop to e3, so it's just in time to protect this c5. Oh, and g5. Rook attacking the bishop. Bishop back to d4. Okay, rook c2, now rook f1. Yeah, black looks like it's lost its hold on this. White looks like she's lost the hold on the game actually. Wasp looks like it's not doing very well now. Mind you, Leela's only got 16 seconds left. Wasp has got 1 minute 7. But that pawn attacked on h5. Rook takes h5, I'm guessing. And it feels like after that, black's just winning. Bishop to g3. Yeah, and both the rooks are back on the last rank, so this is dangerous. Alright, bishop f2 takes. And if king takes, rook h2 will be played, I imagine. Yeah. Oh no, rook h3, okay. And yeah, Wasp resigns that game as well. So yeah, that was game over anyway. The rooks and the extra pawn were just too much, and also white had a pawn on a3. So that's just going to be absolutely devastating. But anyway, thank you for watching. Those were quite some interesting games. It's good to see Leela up against some of her engines. So if you know any more, that will be good to use. Drop a comment and I'll look at them. Anyway, thank you for watching.